Hi and welcome to this week's workout video. So we're going to start with quite a energetic exercise where we come downward scale, starting at the top, very staccato notes, and we release the stomach muscles between every single note. Now, I must say right from the outset that this can be a bit of a car crash, and that's fine. What I don't want you to do is to try to make those notes necessarily in tune. Because depending on the time of day, your breath might or might not be willing to join in, and your voice might feel a little bit sort of all over the place. And the important point is that this is to get your breath in charge. It is not about getting the notes bang in the middle. This is, for me, the key to so much of vocal technique, is to teach your breath to do the job, not to try and make yourself in tune and perfect straight away. So what we're going to do is this. And we'll carry on up to here, and we'll go as far as there, and then we'll come back down again. I just want you to keep going and try and feel that each of these notes is made with your breath through your head. If you can breathe through your nose at any points in this, it will really help. But because that will give you an idea of where the placement is. But do not obsess about being in tune. Okay? And okay, good. Now, having done it that speed, we're just going to speed it up a little bit, okay? And see how we get on. And okay, good. So that's a really, really useful exercise for really getting your breath aware, getting it awake, but also just getting your throat to relax and saying, okay, so I'm just going to throw these breaths at my head and see whether I land up on the note. And they're quite revealing. Okay, so now let's have some mezzo di voce. So just on one note. Okay, and good. Now, I know we did that exercise on last week's workout video. That was the basis for all of bel canto technique. It's that crescendo diminuendo on one note. Really use it all the time. So let's try this. Again, we're crescendoing on the high note. We go quietly up to there. Keep very relaxed here if you can. If you find it difficult to relax, just take one thumb and stick it up here under your chin so that it's really pushing into the root of your tongue, and try and sing without your tongue pushing down against your thumb. Okay, and then when we come to crescendo, we just use the breath to do the crescendo. And having my thumb in there actually releases one of my sort of reference points, if you like, one of the points where I feel I can control my voice, which then, and it's a bad control, which then allows my breath to go further. Try here. And if you can successfully make it crescendo, even sometimes you might get a little step in it where it suddenly goes from a bit quieter to quite a lot louder. That's okay, so long as you can avoid using any sort of grip, and gradually those sort of things will go. Okay, so let's go into in fact, we'll start a bit lower for the lower voices among you. It won't do the higher voices any harm either. Start down here. Now, I want you to use as much breath as possible, so that you are really running out by the end. And when you get to the end, when you start to feel that you're running out of your breath, make sure that you keep your posture good and upright and don't change anything, because that gives your breath relief. We want to make your breath work really hard. Okay, so. So try taking a breath through your nose to do it. Now that in total was about 13 seconds, which isn't very long at all. And we can extend that. So just keep using as much breath as possible, and we can maybe add to it. If you do your in-breath through your nose, you will concentrate more on getting your breath really, really low. And one more. Good. Now, before we do the next exercise, the next vocal exercise, I want to do just one breathing exercise with you. I want you to breathe in through your nose, right down to the pit of your stomach, and then I want you to breathe out and keep breathing out until you feel that you've got rid of every last drop. Now, this doesn't have to be a slow thing. We can make it a quite fast thing, so it doesn't need to take a lot of time. But really breathe down to the pit of your stomach, and then breathe out absolutely everything, way beyond where you would normally get to. Okay, add. That point where I feel I want to cough almost, where your stomach muscles really are pulling in as they try to support you breathing out, makes a big difference. And it's the exhaling that makes your voice fuller, because we want to get your breathing muscles to a stage where you're really using your more breath this thing, because the more breath you're using, so long as you're not resisting it, the more breath you're using, the more breath will vibrate. Let's just try that once again. Now, I want you to try one more thing with that. When you breathe in, I want you to try mentally and through use of muscles in your chest to move that breath around, turn it to the left, to the right, down and up while it's in there, and then breathe out. So and then get rid of it. So take the breath in, breathe to one side, push the air to one side, push the air to the other, push the air downwards, push it upwards, and then breathe out. And to a certain extent, this is imagination, but it's just really useful for waking up bits of your body, and you will find that muscles will react and start to push the air. Try one more time. And that's just expanding the amount of your lungs that you're using. It's also expanding what you feel you can do with your breath. It's giving you time where you're actually holding your breath in, which is also good for you. And it's expanding the movement of your diaphragm. So all of those things are things that we want to build up so that when you come to express yourself in singing, that is really working for you. So we're going to take the last exercise we did, but we're going to add on to it now. And some of you won't get through to the end of this, and that's absolutely fine. I might not get through to the end of it. We're going to go. Okay, just try this. We've got an extra scale, which is a longer scale on the end. And usefully, we hit the highest note in the scale when we've been singing for some time, which is really, really important because very many of us take too much breath before a high note. Okay, try it. And as before, when we start to feel we're running out of breath, don't change anything. Keep your face, keep your posture the same. So you keep singing the same. And as soon as you give your breathing muscles a relief by changing something, then they don't work as hard. Managing that, I suspect for most of you, you are already singing some of the longest phrases you've ever sung in your life. And it's really useful to know that you can. If you manage to stay with that right until the very, very end there, you did 20 seconds, which is very good. So let's try and do the same thing, but this time we're going to add a scale, a long scale on U and a long scale on R. So let's try this. If you made that, great. If you didn't, just keep doing it gently until it works for you. You might find that the method of breathing in for 6 and then trying to breathe out for 8 and then trying to breathe out for 10 and then try and breathe out for 20 will help you. And apparently the ideal is to be able to breathe in for 6 and breathe out for 30. Okay, but it takes time to work up to that. Let's try it again. Add. And just one more. Okay, add. Now that phrase is getting you over the 20-second mark, which is really, really good. If you don't make it, that's fine. Just make sure you get a really good in-breath and keep doing it. Keep your posture the same, and gradually you will start to get there. What's important is not to change anything, not to use any tension, not to fight with it. Just accept where you are and go with it, and work from where you are, not where you think you should be. Take care. Have a great week.